We're going to welcome up my man, Benjy, up to the stage.
Hey.
What up?
Hey,
Nice
Andrew.
We both have pictures in the background. Look at us. We've made it. We made it. So yeah, I'm going to pass you the baton. But first of all, everybody, please understand that that's why I was working in the back. She's on the ones and twos, just making things happen. But also Benjy's like writing emails. Those emails that you just got, he made those exist in the span of seconds with his sharp mind and his amazingness. So he was doing both while in preparation for that. So props for Benjy. So everybody give it up for him. Thank you, Benjy, for doing that. I was trying to read messages and trying to focus at the same time, and I saw you. I see you. So now you're going to have your conversation about parents and children. So I'm going to just back out. Welcome.
All right, Andrew.
Everybody to the stage. Benjy Uyama.
Thanks, Andrew. Give him a big hand. Andrew has 3 children of his own, and I would love for him to be part of this conversation, but he needs to take a break. So I'm going to be hosting for the next few hours, my friends, and we're going to have some guests coming on just in a second. But before we do that, we have to take a step back to ask y'all to take action. All right. If you go to the website, highnoon.org, the homepage, on the very front page, there is 2 actions you guys can take. Number 1, you can join a free program right there, which is totally free, guys. We have nothing to sell you. We do this because we want to give you a high noon life, a life without shadows, a pure water life, right? As Mother talks about it. And you can also claim your free copy of the Core of the Universe course, which only will be accessible to you guys that are participating live. We're going to be taking it down from the public view completely after this stream ends. All right. So get it now while you can and join a program. This is why we're doing this, my friends. If you're wise enough to notice, we do these events because we want to give you something valuable, but also we want to bring you into our world, not so that we can sell you something, but so that we can be part of a community. If you really ask yourself deep down, we know that we all want desperately in our hearts to be part of a community and to experience love. And we call them the 5 virtues of high noon. So that's really what we're doing. So if that's for you, go to highnoon.org to join our program. All right. So to preface our next conversation, this is really a topic that came from our hearts for parents. All right. But also for individuals, if you're not a parent yourself, I'm sure that you're listening to this and you're thinking about your own experience being raised in this world, being raised maybe in this movement, and being raised in a culture that is highly sexualized, and you would say hypersexualized, to the point where it's one of the most confusing times in history to raise children. All right. And so we have 2 individuals that are going to help us navigate this conversation to give y'all, hopefully, some confidence and excitement and less fear around the topic of guiding our children through sexual integrity, to have healthy sexuality, heavenly sexuality in a good way, especially at a confusing time in our world. All right. So let's welcome to the stage our first guest, which is going to be Akira Watanabe. Akira-san, welcome, brother.
Hey, Benjy. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, bud. I can hear you. I can see you. And we're going to be excited to hear from you. Akira-san is, you guys might have known him from Las Vegas, Carp, right? Very active for many years, and also GPA staff. And now he's got his own business going on over there, right?
Right.
That's quite a shift in mission for you, but I'm really excited and happy to have you here. So I wanted to have you because you have children yourself, a bunch of teens that you've raised, but also importantly, your experience of working with so many young people in our faith. I think you're privy to understand the unique struggles of raising young people in our culture, right? So having your perspective will be very valuable. How are you doing, by the way?
It's good. Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
okay.
All parents care the children. That's core of our hearts. So yeah, I'm glad I can offer something today.
Yeah, and there's a lot of fear around it too. So we hope to dispel a little bit of that, right? So welcome to the stage, our second guest, Amelia Lindemann. How you doing?
Amelia.
Hello. Good to see you. Last time I saw you was in Cheongpyeong last year.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So you are the director of School of Love. This is new. You were on the podcast, the High Noon podcast recently, but for people that don't know, this School of Love is a department under High Noon International, and Amelia is our new director very recently, right? Yeah. But also, she doesn't look it, but she's blessed in marriage and has, how many kids do you have now?
4 kids and
4
1
children.
kid in the spirit world, so 5
Whoa!
kids.
Wow.
How do you do that? You look so young.
Thank you.
How old is your oldest, by the way, Amelia?
She is 11,
11.
and our youngest is 3.
Yeah. And so, Akira, what are your kids' ages?
We have 21, 19, and 16, and a 10. 4 kids. Same.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Gotcha. I'm going to be hosting, asking you guys some questions, but just for some context, I have 3 children myself. They are 9, 7, and a 1-year-old. So we're all at like different stages, it seems, in our parenting journey. But I really wanted to throw this conversation to both of you to kind of open up this really difficult. I know for a fact that if we have parents listening to this, it's such a, I don't know how to explain it. It's such a difficult thing to listen to because honestly, none of us can really say that we are fully cracked the code on how to help our children navigate life and sexuality, especially, right? But I think there's a lot that we've learned. There's a lot that you guys have learned in your work and also as parents, and it's worth sharing and will be very valuable to people. So let's start with that. Maybe talk about your own journeys as parents in terms of how you have viewed raising children and guiding them in their own sexual journey. Maybe Akira-san or Amelia, whoever wants to go first.
I was a little bit reflecting on this, and though I was as you said, mentioned that I was a leader, take care of the many, teenagers, 18, 19, 20s. And when it comes to the own children, it's perspective a little shift. So perspective, or because some of when I can guide the parents and the children and they talk about it, when it comes to the own children, definitely some sort of I realize that fear, that temptation, that I don't want to face this. I don't want to find out. Though I love it and I want to take care of the children, but at the same time, don't want to reveal uncover the things. That's definitely I myself went through. I just want to let the parents. So I'm the same, leader to get a GPA and a car. Come to the own children. I can talk about this freely to any other children, but I come to the own children. I definitely challenge my own fear to deal with it. Because anything, the challenge that children go through is my responsibility. Am I doing right as a parent? Am I good parents? Am I successful parents? Because it's so important thing. That's why it's become so fear to fail as a parent. Yeah, that's what I can put.
Yeah, I hope to get into that a bit, but maybe let's go to Amelia before that.
Yeah, I feel like I just kind of started this journey of talking about sexuality with my kids recently. But I just, through starting to work with School of Love, I realized the importance. And I guess, I've also had a lot of worries myself as well. But I just realized that the main thing is just to have this conversation so my kids know it's okay to talk about this at home. And also to kind of just take away this secrecy or shame, because otherwise they hear it from other places and they just wonder, like, oh, is that something okay to talk about with my parents? Like, is it a bad word? Or, all this, these worries might come up. But if I start as a parent, I already make the initiative to talk with my kids and show them I'm open to talk about this. You can come to me with any kind of question. Then it's like a free platform then for them to just come again and again, like, oh, I saw this, or a friend mentioned this, and maybe I don't know the answer, but at least we can talk about it. And that it already relieves so much stress or worry from the child's side. And also, it also helps me as a parent to just know what's going on in their lives and what do they observe. because sometimes we think, oh, cover this, cover that, but our kids see everything, and they see us covering it, and then they get even more curious about it.
So when you started having those conversations, was there any reservations or kind of fears that came up that you had to overcome?
Yeah, also just worries about doing it right. Like, where do I start? But I just went by feeling, and also who do I start with? You know, I have 4 kids, and yeah, the 2 oldest are 9 and 11, and then I have 2 younger boys, 3 and 6, and so it's like, okay, who do I tell what? But yeah, I just started with my 2 older girls to talk more about sexuality, and then I told everyone a bit about pornography. My 3-year-old was just playing; he wasn't interested, but yeah, we did have a conversation about that too.
Gotcha. Hi, Makiko-san. The Mrs. Watanabe is here. Welcome.
Hi.
Now you're one.
now you're one. It's good to have you.
Always one.
Yeah, I was going to ask Akira-san about this question too. You know, you're mentioning some personal fears or challenges when talking with someone that's so close to home, right? Our children. Whereas it's sometimes easier to help people that are a little distant from us.
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
So and I know this is an ongoing thing, right? But I can sense that you've made some victories in this area. You've had some wins. So what did you have? I mean, come on, right?
Okay. All right.
Give yourself credit, right?
Here, absolutely, I'll be honest. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So last night I talked to my son, one of my sons.
Yeah.
Just opportunity came up. I thought it's a God sign. You know, he just went to the youth ministry at the Friends Church and a Christian church, and the guy was, hey, those who has issues of porn or masturbations, come to front, we'll pray for you. And he shared that. I took as a sign that actually he is looking for the opportunity to talk, but he can't come to me. So he's kind of sending a signal so that I thought, hey, let's talk. And I just started to drive randomly. And it was 8 p.m.
Yeah.
So we started to drive. Yeah, it's 9 p.m. So it's late. But I thought I can't lose this opportunity. It's kind of awkward time. He's tired, but if I missed it when it comes, maybe he want to talk about it. I have to catch the signal. So yeah, I just had a talk actually last night.
There you go. Wow. So you faced the fear.
I did it. Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah, you know, it's everyone, especially second generation, they are very sensitive to this all kind of emotion, especially this shame, because conscience are so clear and it's just something he was really didn't want to talk about it. You know, I could feel that I don't want to talk about it. And but you know, it's very important to me not just talk about it, create an environment that doesn't feel any kind of pressure or fear. Really, I had to be ready. Hey, let's talk. And I understand. You going through that? Totally get it. It's no. So that not just bring up the topics, but I be able to give that feeling that I'm here just to help and I'm willing to listen to anything. You know, remove all the shame. So that's what I did, and then he shared everything. Yeah.
Good for you. Makiko-san, how do you feel about this?
Actually, you know what, Papa, I didn't tell you. So after that conversation, he came home. Actually, he played really bad last night. His volleyball game, it was the worst game he played ever in his life. And he had this conversation. He's so tired. He walked in, Mom, I'm so upset with Papa, you know. But then actually afterwards, so we have 3 boys. The one that Akira-san talked to was the youngest one. And he was talking about his oldest brother. And he's had some challenges. And he knows that his older brother felt judged by us for what he did. And he still is. And he said, Mom, I'll be very honest with you. I think you are judging him. and you are kind of pushing him out still, and you got to give him space. And I'm going to be so angry with you and Papa if you don't do anything differently. And he's only 16, but like talking about, this being part of a true parents' family or closer to God, I feel our children really knows what it is a genuine relationship, heart-to-heart relationship. And I know we're talking about sexuality and everything, but I think it really starts with this. It's a heart-to-heart connection, love and love connection. And I think it takes time. You're definitely learning. And as your children are younger, but our children are older. But I think that's just something we are definitely navigating.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. It's amazing. I'm secretly hoping your son will like jump on the other side of the screen. Like, hey, I'm here. Ready to share my high noon experience. No, it's great. I mean, it's very it's honest, and it's what we're here for, right? The thing is that, I mean, our statistics show that most men and most women in our movement are struggling with porn and masturbation. And we'll actually talk about that in the next session. Shout out to that, about our actual porn usage in our movement. And so it is kind of strange that we don't talk about it, if you think about it. It's kind of odd that True Father talked about it so constantly and endlessly, and we still don't feel comfortable talking about it. Right. So that's why we're here. And we appreciate you showing up and being honest, and both of you, right, Amelia, sharing recent experiences about this. But Amelia, did you have anything to add on to this?
Yeah. I really feel like God wants to reclaim sexuality, because like you said, Benji, True Father has been talking about it for ages. There is somehow this shame that has been inherited for ages, maybe since Adam and Eve, and it even blocks us from talking about it within our own family. I don't know, maybe it's a similar shame, I don't know. But I mean, sexuality, we see it's still going on all over in the world, and it's being used for other things that hasn't been related to God. But God really wants us back, and that's why I think that's why it's so important that we just make this move as parents, because that's where it starts. That's where like what's a better way than through us as parents to talk to our kids that sexuality, it's a beautiful thing, it's going to be amazing, but yeah, within a healthy couple, a loving relationship, and yeah, if we don't say that, then they just pick up all these little messages all around. And then, like, I just know growing up myself, it's like sexuality, ooh, what is that? Like, I couldn't even read it from the DP because I was like, I can't say that word. And then at some point, you realize, oh, it has to be done, because you have to, like, if you want to get blessed and have a family, it's a part of life. So then you have to change your whole, I mean, everyone has their own way they grew up with sexuality, but I think a lot of us relate to it in first a negative way, rather than first a positive way. And so I think God really wants to change that whole dynamic, and so that we first relate to it as a positive thing, but also with the knowledge of how its amazing power can be used, right? Like within a loving, blessed relationship. Because it can be used in other ways, right? Like in other negative ways, and it's been really pulling us down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As people of faith, we traditionally tend to focus on the negative and the shadows of our sexuality. That's just how it is. And we rarely stop to think, is my sexuality good in any way? Where's the goodness in my sexuality? Where's the goodness in my sex drive, right? As a married man myself, I spent over a decade of my blessing just assuming actually that my sex drive is selfish and it's for me. And I'm like pushing it onto my wife as in it's like something wrong. And then it wasn't until recently where someone asked me the question like, well, where's the goodness in that? I was like, well, of course it's a good thing. Otherwise we wouldn't have kids. Otherwise we wouldn't have this relationship. It wouldn't be a blessing. You know what I'm saying? But I never even stopped to think maybe this is a good thing, because I assumed. It was like a constant insidious assumption. It's like my sexuality is bad and wrong and selfish, and it's only for me. But if I think about it, I was like, well, I have children. I always prioritize my wife's sexual satisfaction, always, 100% of the time, right? And her emotional and spiritual satisfaction. So it's just interesting that we don't stop to think that with our children, because I have a 9-year-old son too, right? And my constant thing in my mind is like, I want to teach him that his sexuality is good, first of all, just like you were saying, Amelia, that it's good. It's a good thing. And don't feel ashamed. And if he asks me questions like when we're driving, which he does, I will just say it as straight as I can without feeling like heavy and weighted. Because as a son growing up in this world and our faith, I always remember feeling, I wish like talking about sex and porn was more light. Like I wish it wasn't so heavy. I remember feeling that, like at workshops with my parents, it was always like this thing you have to like go out into the mountains into a workshop that you have to only talk about at the end of the year during the winter workshops. And it was only within like a small little brothers group and sisters group. You know what I'm saying? But I remember feeling as a teenager, I was like, I wish people would just talk about it while they were making dinner, like while they were taking a walk with the dog or in the elevator. That's what I wanted because
Wow.
What does it teach a kid, honestly, when it's so heavy? It's like it teaches that this is shameful and we can't talk about this, right? And that starts with us. That starts with parents. That's what we're teaching subconsciously when we make it such a big thing, right? It's like, I need to talk to you, son, next week at 5:00 p.m. about something really, really important, right? I don't know if people can I hate when people do that. It just like makes me so insecure and anxious. Anywho.
But yeah, also like when also parents do that, then the kid realizes, oh, this is how it feels talking about this. I don't want to do this again.
Yeah, because then they don't want to bring it up, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. I think we're talking about something really important, Benji. And I kind of realized that it's a Hainu is not solving the problem, like and it's just about the sexuality, but we're positively promoting, give a right perspective about sexuality, and because when as a church member they talk about it, it's always kind of fear of judgment. Oh, what the Japanese mom gonna think about? We talk about sex, use the word, even S word, and then okay, I can already feel that vibrations of what are you talking about? It's kind of judgment immediately. Don't talk about that. So subconsciously we have those fear of judgment or something. But somebody have to start it. We need to, like you said, talk during a dinner time, talk about in the elevator. So constantly talk beauty of it, because it's a whole history that comes with the feeling of shame, guilt. That somebody, because this is like this is something beautiful things, but somebody have to claim it. Something, but I have to start it. It is beautiful things, and it's become a more common. It's a majority start thinks, oh, this is a beautiful thing. Then society will start change. So I think this is a beautiful conversation.
God bless High Noon for pioneering.
Yeah, you're a pioneer.
And also, really supporting this first few generations, right, of God's real family. We actually, it's been I'm sorry, but we are definitely going against the entire history. So it's challenging, but I think it's a rewarding work that we are finding the, whatever the way, heavenly way, high noon way to talk about this.
Yeah. I always say that high noon is a concept that True Father made. True Mother talks about it in the form of pure water, right? It's a True Parents concept, and the organization High Noon, we're here to substantiate those concepts and make it practical and real in people's lives. Yeah. So that's the work that we're trying to do, for sure.
Wow. I'm so inspired. We need to have a checklist. Did we talk about sex today? Check. About dinner time.
Every day.
Yes, we did.
It's funny. Like, I actually look for chances for me to talk about sexuality, even when it's totally uncalled for. Just this week, actually, here's my recent story. I was driving, picking up my son up from school, and we were driving, and we were talking about kind of how it's challenging for us as men, like me and my son. It's hard for us to understand our emotions and talk about it. And so he's noticed this, that it's easier for his sister, his younger sister, to talk about her emotions, like how she's doing today, right? If I ask her how she's doing, she'll talk about it. My son's like, fine, everything's fine, right? And so he's noticed that it's hard for him to understand his emotions and talk about them. And so we were talking about that in the car, and I was like, yeah, I have a hard time too. Like, I sometimes just ignore the difficult things, and I just don't think about it. And I have a lot of experiences in my life that were really traumatizing, and I didn't even tell anybody about it. I didn't know how to digest the experience, and it only came up later in life that it really affected me. And then he asked me, can you give me an example? Right? He's like, can you give me an example? And so I thought of I thought of the most traumatizing thing I could think of, which is when I was 11 years old. There was an older dude sleeping at our house, and he asked me to touch his private part, right? And I was really young. I didn't really make meaning of it, but it was something that I always carried as a huge sense of shame and guilt that I did that, because I thought that was I fell. Basically, that's how I felt. I fell, and I told him that while we were driving, and I said it with a smile on my face. So yeah, this kid told me to touch his wiener, his penis while he was at our house. And he was like, oh, okay. Right? That was it. And then the whole conversation ended, right? So I'm trying to find random places to talk about this really heavy stuff, but in a kind of a familiar way. Hey, this is life. Stuff happens, My parents did the best they could, and still stuff happened, right? But yeah, I just, by the way, just talking about my parents, they did everything right. On paper, the software, blocking software, the conversations, talking about stuff, ongoing conversations about sexual, porn, masturbation. But still, it was a struggle, So I give grace to parents, but I also want to say we're going to make mistakes, and nothing cannot be redeemed, So there you go.
Wow. That's, most of the heavy thing, we just kind of talk, casually, or because we human just deal with this with constant shame, because, God is in us, constantly want to be a better person, want to be overcome those things. That's why this dealing with the fear, shame is such kind of very important. So as we want to create a better world and a better relationship, we need to become people who can remove those shame, because that's what they're blocking us to go forward. And so that, that's a constant to bring up those things. That's always talk a positive thing, and so we make a mistake, but we are in the process of the moving to idea that's constant, the growing mindset. It's okay, that problem, because yes, we're still dealing with some stuff in our lives, but don't worry, we got each other. I think that's the culture that we need constant to bring up. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I also think often as parents we think, oh, we shouldn't tell our kids our mistakes, right? Because then they might make the same ones. But it's totally, usually not true, because usually they can learn from our own mistakes, and we don't need to look perfect for them, right? Because actually that will just frustrate them even more. It's like, why am I not perfect like mom and dad, when actually they aren't perfect? Nobody is. And one thing that also motivated me is I was thinking, what do I really want to pass on to my kids, right? Like, when I die, like, what do I want to tick off that list? Like, actually, education, it's not the most important thing. I want them to feel absolutely loved. I want them to have a great relationship with God. And that's where I was like, oh, like, am I really living that? Like, I have to check myself. I have to really strive also now to achieve that goal, so that I can pass it on to my kids. And then also sexuality, having a really healthy sex life and a healthy view of what sexuality is. That's also something I want to pass on to my kids for their future, right? So that when they are at that point, that they can be even more successful in their relationship.
Yes.
That's just something that motivated me to just break this ice, right? Because it's sometimes it's like how do I say these things to my kids? It like you can't really visualize how it would hear or sound to anybody. But yeah, you just do it. I think there is actually no huge rocket science behind it. It's just opening up your heart to this kind of culture in your own family.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're so beautiful. Beautifully said. Yeah. I just kind of wanted to go back to what you said, Benji, like just bringing up this, we can unfortunately we can make mistakes, and but we will do our best. I think as parents or as older generations in this faith community, we say we do have like faith in God, faith in true parents, but I feel like that it's rather than faith, this kind of more substantial faithful relationship with the God in ideal or in high noon setting. I think we are meant to be feeling that kind of grace directly from God. And because that, I feel it's kind of lacking. We kind of focused on many things. We have to do this, we have to do this, we have to do this. But older generation, we kind of missed out on developing this kind of free, genuine relationship with our heavenly parent, where we feel that grace. Okay, yeah, I'm making mistake, but I can be forgiven. So if we, as older generation, if we can forgive ourselves first, then it would be, I think, easier for that love to be channeled through us, and that can be reflected in our relationship with our own children. That's just kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's beautiful. How do people experience God?
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
Benji, I have a question.
No, you can't answer.
Do you talk about sex? Today I had a great sex with my wife. Do you say that in front of your children? Talking about claiming the more positive aspect of sexuality. Do you talk about how beautiful you do that, or?
I don't explicitly say it, but I will like smoochy poochie my wife in front of them. So I think it's implied, implicitly understood. Yeah.
I could see that happening like when our kids are a bit older, more adults than or teenagers. I don't know. I'm not at that point yet, but
okay. We are in that place. My kids all besides my 10 years old daughter, everybody can relate. So okay, maybe we should do something Oh, we had some. Okay, I really want to take out today that we need to proclaim positively talk about sexuality. Yeah, not the only talk one with a more bad, negative way. So yeah, that's what I might take away from today. So gotta do something.
Yeah.
I mean, we go out on a date night and we say, yeah, we we tell, I mean, they know, okay, Papa and Mama, we are spending a night at the hotel. Bye.
So they know what we're planning to do.
I don't know.
We don't say we're gonna have a sex. We don't say, but it's obvious.
Yeah.
So why don't you stay in a home? Why you have to? We have a home. Why you have to go hotel? Well, of course, we do something. So but we say, hey, we're gonna go date. We always say that.
That's great. Okay, I have to get your kids on the podcast next time.
yeah, we want to hear from them. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I'm sorry, I didn't plan the planning a session, but is it okay? Like, do you guys talk about how to also like promoting healthy sexuality, but like how to deal with the children and being in school, and then there's a lot of propaganda being taught to be, to respect LGBTQ communities. My kids have teachers who are lesbians. They have friends who have two fathers, and especially your children are young and so open-minded and caring. I wonder if some of the younger parents are wondering how to, I don't want to say protect them, but how to give them more heavenly view and not to get confused.
Right. I think that is part of this conversation. It 100% is. I think that in order to get to that place where we can confidently talk to about stuff like this, I think we have to understand why we're afraid. Right. So I'd like to get there because I think that's a major concern for parents. Right. But maybe let's get into that. But first, I wanted to just ask Akira-san, because he was sharing at the beginning a lot of the fears that he has about talking about openly with his children. Right. And so maybe if you can share, and it'll be really helpful for parents to hear, because I know every parent is struggling to some extent with this. Why is it that it's scary? Like at a really deep level.
I think, if I can be very honest, so there's as a parent, we don't want to fail. And I don't know. Yeah, I think we are not so mature, so we kind of concerned about like how we feel, how we look, and then maybe we're kind of scared. We don't want to find out our children's reality, or we don't want to be rejected by our children, and we have our own baggage too, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think my wife wished definitely. I think all of us have some sort of a guilt in our own lives. Didn't do so good either. Oh, God depends expectations here, and this we're doing. And already we have some sort of good guilt and shame ourselves. So, and we don't want to again fail as a parents. And scared to find out, and also scared. Can I deal with this? Can I open a can and the emotion come out? Can I deal with this? But also, do I have a capacity to embrace? Am I afraid to react? What if there's something comes out and I'm not be able to be a loving parent, which we are always taught to be, loving and embracing? Can I have a capacity of love to receive everything in it? Just so scared. So can I take? So that's why definitely when I deal with this, it's a daily practice. We need to be praying all the time, being confronting with our own selves. I'm not perfect, and I'm making a mistake. Why can I expect my children to be perfect? I need the forgiveness. I need the grace, and I'm still processing growing myself. And I need to be embraced that there is not same by children. We always need to be confronting ourselves. don't put their own shame onto the children. Okay, I'm already shameful. I'm not feel great, so that's make me feel good. You expect you to be perfect, so that make me feel I'm a good parent. Do not put the pressure on a parent. Walk the journey with the children. That's absolutely important. Talk about this without any pressure or shame. That is a very important responsibility. To do that, we need to be very honest with ourselves. If we're not doing that, I don't think we can truly have an embracing heart toward the children. So that's how I feel.
Got it.
Can I just add, because you said walk the path with our children, and I think that's so important because it's so hard to be completely pure these days. Like, I don't know, in a pure, like as in, to not have any kind of relationship, not, get into porn or masturbation is so hard. And that's also why we need to open up as parents, just to be there to give this absolute love to our kids, just to show that they are absolutely loved, and then help them to see this vision of what sexuality is, right? In its original form, as God intended it to be. So to just be there, like you said, walk with our kids and support them through this journey towards hopefully a really happy blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. Make them feel that this is a normal that they go through. Yeah. So I think we talk about it starts from parents being honest with ourselves. We're not perfect. We went through, made a mistake. And then if we are open to our own mistake and open to our own journey to overcome it, if we are, not always we are perfect and, always a gap between parent and children, but we come down to we went through that. And what you went through, I went through. It's not shameful. It's a process. Equal parents are giving that kind of vibe, and the children be very open. Yes, it's a way in the course of achieving beautiful idea. Right? Talk of beautiful sexuality, and we're just here, but we're on the way to get there. And perspective very positive. Instead, we have a problem we have to overcome. No, it's a process to the ideal. And if you can bring this kind of culture into the family and the community, it's going to be great. And we didn't do that yet, but we need to start that. Yeah, I feel.
Oh, we are starting.
High noon. You guys are shell right now.
Yeah, so we got a little bit into the reasons for fear, which is prevalent. And I hope that people listening to this, children and parents, will feel like we're all like, it's pretty clear that we're going through this. And we just don't know that all parents are experiencing something similar because nobody talks about it. You know what I'm saying? It's like everyone assumes they're the only one struggling with porn and masturbation because nobody talks about it. And the people that do have victory over it don't tend to publicize that they had an addiction. So I think...
I see. They don't talk about it, even those who had it and overcome.
No.
If you talk about, you had a problem, then...
No, it's not a sexy story to tell. It's not like I made $100 million. It's like I had a porn addiction and then I didn't. It's not an attractive story generally. But we're trying to throw all that out the window at High Noon and give light without shadow. So I really appreciate both of you sharing, our fears. There's a lot I have in terms of my fears that I won't get into because of time, and also that's not why I'm here. But just acknowledging that we're still here, I think it's helpful and liberating for parents to feel like they have hope, right? And so with that said, the hopeful part is what, like Makiko-san, you're alluding to, what can we do to help people, parents in particular, help their kids? More like a day-to-day practical, for example, kids are going to school, they're hearing very confusing things. They're on the internet, which is very confusing, unavoidable, pretty much to go down that sexual rabbit hole. So what do parents need essentially to healthily navigate this situation?
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe one thing is that it's not just this important conversation that we are, how can I say? I think relationships takes time. So I think just just to build it up, like my boys. I don't know if you know this show called The Impractical Joker, and it's a really dumb show that my boys watch. But I watch it with them, like Kid and Pio or something, football, volleyball, just spending like time with them. My daughter does Akira-san's hair or nails sometimes. Just kind of just being together and spending time. And then if on that foundation, when we, or on the drive, right? When we have to have whatever the conversation we have to have, it becomes more natural and easier.
Yeah. I didn't want to say this, Benji. I remember my wife did say a really important thing. I remember when my boys are small, also it happened to my daughter too. And they're watching something, kind of really silly program, silly things. I tried to calm down. My son reacted, Papa, don't come. And I asked later, they feel they're going to be judged. And my daughter yesterday said that she's watching some kind of horror, kind of funny, like a good story. And no, don't come. And she was kind of afraid that she'll be judged. And then when I was sit down together and enjoy together, and I remember that my son was, my daughter, my son both are watching me, how I'm reacting. When I'm smiling, and they feel so calm down. So it's in their nature. They're always, parents is like, it's such an important figure. Are they happy? Or are they judging? They're constantly watching. I can see that they're checking my face. They criticize, oh, this is funny thing. Oh, they feel so calm that they're so happy that I'm acknowledging. So that's why it's not about like when they bring in some kind of challenge, what to do. But in daily life, always spending time together. That is more important than how to talk to children. Constantly talk. So to come to the place, oh, my parents are with me. You could give it that, then it's okay. Often we talk about, so what to say, how to say. And I recently had a talk with one of the second gen who is already 30. And something he said that, something I hated most was, oh, you don't understand this. So you don't understand the principle. So always, I understand this, but you don't understand. You are always wrong. So children feel that, oh, we are study principle, we join that. I understand the principle, but you don't because you're small. You don't understand true parents. You don't understand the principle. So that's where he said, I'm done with my parents. He completely draw a line. They will never respect me. They'll never accept what I have to say as an individual. Parents think they're right. They know principle. They're connected in God, Japan. We're not. So this is a huge gap. And we should never say, oh, you don't understand. So always we remove this gap in the daily life. So that is a huge, huge important things.
Yeah. So I hear you saying that it's important to build a foundation of trust and a more day-to-day level and kind of a relationship of mutual trust, respect. Like you're by my parent is by my side in the day-to-day, not just coming in when they need to, right, to lay down the law.
When they want to on their term.
Or when they want to on their terms. And then leave. But someone that's constantly with them so that it's a foundation of that they can have any conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can also make them, even we don't think what they're saying is right, because I don't want to say my children are very talkative, very opinionated, and they think they are right. So instead of, I really want to correct, but yeah, you can correct later. But for now, most important thing is that I respect their, whether agree or not, but respect their opinion. They have individual, they want to say something that accepting that, oh, they have opinion and respect that. So that is important and correct. Oh, they're talking right, wrong thing. Oh my gosh, what's going to happen if you leave it that way? They might become a really bad man or bad, I have to correct now. I have to nip the bud. No. Mm-hmm. First thing, it's create a mutual respect.
Yeah, loving the relationship.
Yeah, so you cannot skip that process. And then you can't teach anything without that foundation. You want to correct them, but if you don't give respect, they'll never receive even whatever right thing you might say.
What do you think, sister?
Yeah, I think that's awesome. That's, definitely you have to keep up this relationship and also, just listening, right? like listen first and then give your 2 cents later, is what I understood also from what you said. And also just keeping up this relationship, because like you said, Benji, not just be there to lay down the law, but you essentially, these are your people, right? That you want them to come see you in the future. It's your little mini tribe, and we should really want to be a part of it. And I think it's actually, once you kind of open all these topics up, it's actually really exciting. There's just so much more to talk about in life. And
So do you think it's possible for people to get excited about helping the kids navigate sexuality?
Yeah, I think it's possible. I think there might be some hurdles to get through, but I think it's so much more complicated in our mind than it really is in action. In our mind, it probably sounds like just super duper awkward and hard. But if we just put it in action, ignore all those thoughts blocking us, because that's also, it's just blocking essentially God's way of passing on our knowledge about sexuality, just all these thoughts. And if we can just let our heart speak, just keep up this relationship with our kids, so that when the time comes, they can talk to us. Then I think we can really start getting excited about talking for the next time. And also just changing the culture that we have, because like in the previous session, it was, like a newly blessed couple, often they need that older generation to help them, especially navigate the beginning of the relationship. And probably, I'm guessing God made it this sort of, this family structure, so that we could have this relationship of talking about sexuality also in the future, when like we start already when our kids ask questions, and then it develops into talking more deeply about sexuality and feelings and emotions. And then they get married and blessed, and then it's like, oh, what do I do now? And like it's not so easy, and then they can again reach out to their parents. I think a lot of us are missing that, but that's how it can eventually hopefully go, if we keep up that the interest as parents, just interest in our kids' lives, and just keeping the platform open for whatever question comes. But sometimes we have to maybe ask the questions, like you, Benji, taking every chance you can to get the topic in.
Well, let's start wrapping up, but we're not finished, my friends. Final question. Can parents do this? Can they do it?
Yes.
Is this possible?
If we can do it, you can do it.
Akira-san, can you do it?
Yeah, I already determined. I was so inspired today, and I received so much from this talk. Wow, yeah, I heard that children's brain doesn't kind of relate to the fear so much. That's why kids show that something incident, or you do this and get an action. And the children don't remember the fear. I think God created the brain to be that way. Children cannot, but children more related to the excitement and joy. That's why we put do this mistake. This is that children actually doesn't work to the children's brain. But always, that's why we need to talk about excitement. How good about this sexuality. I think that's we need to go. And I didn't do that. Often when we especially talk about sexuality, always in terms of fear, shame, something negative. I think we need to flip that. That's my determination. I'm gonna change myself first. It's me. Akira is the one to change my first. I will change my perspective. Let go of the old concept. It's gonna bring a new things, high new thinking to today. So that's my determination today.
Nice. Yeah, otherwise, oh, you can talk. Go for it.
Oh, but I also wanted to say for those parents who are still kind of on the edge or doubting, I just wanted to say that's okay too. That's, take time and also just be open. Like I wanted to really thank younger generations, and as a representative of a little bit older generations, I have to apologize to you, but like we really need your help. And thank you so much for being a patient with your parents, with the older generations in the faith community. But I think it's a teamwork. And I just wanted to, I guess, send a little bit different vibe of a really encouraging and just, encouraging all of us to be okay with where we are at and just to think about taking a next step.
Yeah, otherwise I wanted to say, School of Love is all about this, is to help parents to talk to their kids about sex. And so please reach out, join our WhatsApp community. And I just want to, tell us what your blocks are, like what stops you, what worries you. And we'll try to work it out, support each other.
Wonderful. Call to action. Where can people connect with School of Love and you, Amelia?
Thank you.
Is there a website that we should send them to?
The website will be revamped, but you can definitely subscribe, and we are going to start a newsletter. So please, subscribe to the website and, join our Facebook page. And Family is the School of Love is our Instagram account.
Okay.
So,
and the website is, what's the website?
Schooloflove.org.
All right. Schooloflove.org. You can also get to it through highnoon.org. Also, Akira-san, if people need their house cleaned, how can they reach you?
Thank you for asking that.
Just kidding, guys. We are not in the business of promoting anyone. That's not why they're here. That's not why they're here. So for all of you all that want to get to understand God's vision for sexuality more, Core of the Universe is the book for you. Just for people listening to this live, we have a free copy for you. Never, ever going to be an option again. You can go to highnoon.org and you can claim a free digital copy of Core of the Universe. We've made it into a course lesson format, so it's easy to digest on your computer or even on your smartphone, just to go through the Core of the Universe content, which is revelations from true parents about absolute sex and sexuality, with some commentary from High Noon as well. So it's a good read. Check it out. You can also join a program for everyone listening. Our programs are free for you guys. Go to highnoon.org if you want to join one of our groups. And any final words from anyone?
It's nice being here. Nice to get to know you, Akira and Makiko, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice meeting you, Amelia. Where are you?
I'm in Germany.
Germany.
Yeah. A big shout out to my sister-in-law. She's watching the kids right now.
Aww.
My husband is away on vacation. So yeah.
Yeah. Your husband is a High Noon dude as well. How is his relation with talking about sexuality with the kids?
He is totally supportive. I'm so grateful for that. We also often give our testimony, heavenly intimacy, to young couples. So I'm just really grateful that he's so open to do that, because not everybody is. But it feels like, such a precious thing. People really appreciate it. And then, so now it's more shifting to our kids. I think I've taken more initiative just because our two oldest are girls. And our two younger boys, I think he's excited to talk to them. This is something really important to him too. So we're definitely on the same page.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both. We're going to wrap up. Thank you for being here. Please give Amelia and Akira and Makiko Watanabe a wonderful big hand. Give them a shout out in the comments.
Good job, guys. I learned a lot.
We're opening up the floodgates for God to work in these families, guys. It's time to
Yep.
stop all this.
Right.
All right.
New age is coming.
Exciting.
Yep.
Yeah.
All
It's
the best.
Aju. All right. Thank you. And then I will thank you guys. Give them a shout out. Thank you, Amelia. Well, we're back, everyone, to our next session, which is coming up, which is going to be about pornography in our movement, in our own faith community. If you are interested in to find out exactly how well or not well we are doing in our faith regarding porn use, but also importantly, why is it that people of faith, people of high moral standard and values tend to do things that we don't like, even though it disagrees with our integrity, it disagrees with our families and with our values, but people still do it. It's not as easy or as simple as, oh, whatever reason that people typically say. It's much, much deeper. So that's what we're going to be getting into in the next session. I'm actually going to be welcoming up Akira-san soon to join us, as well as one other wonderful sister. Before we do that, quick shout out to everyone that's watching on YouTube and Facebook. Please, if you have the heart, click that little share button to share it with your people on Facebook groups, anyone in your WhatsApp community, because it does exponentially help the live stream spread to more people. So it's a really easy and simple way for you guys to just share it with like a Facebook group or another page, or just on your personal Facebook timeline. And that would be wonderful. All right, guys. Also, as a reminder, you can join a program. They're totally for free. The reason we do this, guys, is because we want you all to come into our High Noon world. So please join us as in one of our programs. If you are struggling with sexual integrity, we have a program for you. If you are preparing for marriage and you want to prepare well to be a fantastic spouse, we have a program for you. If you are married, blessed in marriage, we have an intimacy program just for you guys. All right. So check it out, highnoon.org, and also get your free copy of Core of the Universe, exclusively accessible for you guys. Okay. So we're on the hour, and we're going to be welcoming onto stage for this conversation. First of all, let's welcome back Akira-san and Makiko-san, I guess. Okay, not Makiko.
She's gone.
She's gone. So, Akira-san, you are here because I was trying to figure out who is the right person in our faith to talk about porn use in our movement. And